Okay, let's jump right in. In September 1962, right as the space race was peaking, a cartoon called The Jetsons predicted we'd all have a robot maid named Rosie who could cook, clean, and even tell jokes. Well, it's been over 60 years and your smartphone can literally pass the bar exam, but we still do not have a robot that can safely load a dishwasher. We are constantly told that AI is magic, but honestly, that's just a distraction. To really understand the machines we're building today, we have to look back at the machines nature built millions of years ago. Today, we're stripping away the magic to reveal the actual machine. So, we're facing this massive technological paradox right out of the gate. Experts actually refer to this as the dishwasher problem, because for all our crazy advancements, getting a machine to reliably identify a slippery, oddly shaped coffee mug in a sink full of soapy water, pick it up with exactly the right amount of pressure, and put it in a rack without shattering it, that has proven extraordinarily difficult. It kind of feels like we're living in the distant future, yet we're still completely stuck on basic household chores. Now, look at this contrast because it's pretty wild. You've got an AI easily synthesizing complex legal text on one hand, and then displaying a complete inability to understand the physical invariance of a coffee mug on the other. And invariance just means knowing a mug is still a mug whether it's upside down, half hidden by a plate, or in bad lighting. An AI like GPT-4 can score in the 90th percentile on a law exam because it's brilliantly mapping statistical relationships between words in a massive database. But it fundamentally lacks the 3D physical and spatial maps required to actually understand the real world. To really cut through the noise here, we have to recognize what AI actually is. In her incredible book, Atlas of AI, researcher Kate Crawford points out that AI is, at its core, a physical machine. It's built from massive data centers, thousands of undersea cables, immense human labor, and unbelievable amounts of computational power. It is not some abstract, supernatural brain just floating around in the cloud. It is a highly resource-intensive mechanical system designed to optimize for very specific signals. And for those of you who might be newer to this space, it's absolutely crucial to remember that AI is a vast umbrella term. It's not a single mystical entity. As the authors of the book AI Snake Oil outline, it represents a really broad set of loosely related technologies. The software your bank uses to evaluate whether you get a mortgage has almost nothing in common with a system generating a photorealistic image of a cow wearing a pink sweater. Lumping them all together just creates this false sense of a single, omnipotent brain. Now, sitting right under that umbrella is the specific type of AI completely dominating the headlines today: generative AI. We're talking about systems like ChatGPT or Midjourney. And here's the thing, they don't think the way you and I do. Instead, they ingest massive, massive amounts of training data, identify insanely complex patterns, and then generate new text, images, or code based entirely on mathematical probabilities. It is an incredibly powerful form of pattern matching, for sure, but at the end of the day, it is still just matching patterns. To truly wrap our heads around what these generative systems are doing, we actually have to rewind and look at how nature built intelligence in the first place, long before computer science was even a thing. In his book, A Brief History of Intelligence, Max Bennett makes this fascinating argument that what we're seeing in AI today is actually a billion-year-old biological story just being rewritten in silicon. So to understand the limits of our computer networks, we have to understand biological neural networks. Let's break down how nature did this. Biological brains evolved in 3 major leaps. First, you had simple organisms like nematodes that figured out steering, basically just basic reactions to their immediate environment. Then came reinforcing in early vertebrates, where their brains learned through straightforward rewards and punishments. And finally, mammals achieved simulating, which is the ability to build an internal mental model of the world to predict what will happen before actually taking an action. And here is the crucial aha moment. Our current AI technologies are essentially stranded on a jagged frontier. They have completely mastered that vertebrate level of reinforcing. They can optimize behaviors based on massive reward signals to generate a stunning piece of text or totally dominate a chess. But they struggle immensely with the mammalian level of simulating. They just do not have an internal, common-sense model of physical reality. And that is exactly why an AI can write you a brilliant PhD-level essay on 18th century potato farming, but cannot figure out how to load a dishwasher. For the IT folks and engineers watching, looking at the mechanics here is just striking. In biological brains, dopamine is what drives the wanting or seeking behavior. It's an optimization chemical. In AI, neural networks use algorithms like temporal difference learning to maximize a mathematical reward signal. Both of these systems are blindly optimizing for a target. So an AI optimizing its reward function is mathematically brilliant, but it is completely void of true understanding, or what neuroscientists would classify as liking or actual comprehension. But, the illusion of magic shatters completely when we look at another branch of this tech, predictive AI. This is software that attempts to predict future outcomes or human behavior based purely on historical data. We're talking about algorithms trying to predict crime rates in a city, employees' success at a company, or loan defaults. And this is where we really need to apply some strict analytical rigor. As leading researchers Arvind Narayanan and Sayesh Kapoor point out in their book AI Sneak Oil, predictive AI trying to forecast human behavior generally does not work. Human lives are messy, they're chaotic, nonlinear, and influenced by a million invisible variables. Applying rigid mathematical optimization models to the chaos of human life often results in nothing more than digital sneak oil. We're essentially expecting a pattern matcher to predict the unpredictable. But having said all that, we absolutely cannot dismiss the profound shift that is happening right under our noses. The verifiable signal here is that we have crossed a major line, the leap from automation to agency. Automation is a machine executing predefined tasks, right? Like a robotic arm on an assembly line painting a car door. Agency is an entirely different ballgame. It's a system making autonomous decisions, learning and adapting to achieve a goal without a human explicitly instructing it on every single step. Experts from all across the field are actively sounding the alarm on exactly this point. AI pioneer Stuart Russell emphasized this in a recent interview. What makes this technology completely unprecedented is that it is no longer just a tool. A calculator or a spreadsheet only does something when you type into it. But an AI agent, it can autonomously pursue goals, write its own subtasks, and discover pathways we literally never programmed into it. Which brings us to the most sobering reality of modern AI, the black box. Because we are training these deep learning models with billions, sometimes trillions, of parameters on massive datasets, we literally do not fully understand the neural pathways they form. As experts like Tristan Harris have noted, we are seeing unpredictable emergent behaviors, like mammals teaching themselves new languages they were never explicitly trained on. And get this, there is currently an estimated 200-to-1 funding gap between making AI more powerful versus making it safe and controllable. We are deploying these autonomous agents way faster than we can even explain how they work. So it all boils down to this really provocative, vital question, one that every single citizen, leader, and professional needs to be asking right now. If AI isn't magic, but rather an opaque, pattern-matching agent driven purely by mathematical rewards, what happens when we give it autonomous control over our critical infrastructure, our legal systems, or our financial markets? We are effectively handing the steering wheel to a system that cannot genuinely understand the physical or ethical world it's operating in. All right, here is the clear signal you should take away from this explainer. Stop expecting magic. When you evaluate an AI tool for your business or your personal life, you need to look at it for what it mechanically is. It's a highly advanced, resource-intensive, pattern-matching machine optimizing a reward function. It's incredibly useful for synthesizing massive amounts of data, absolutely, but it is not a world-modeling brain. Do not confuse statistical probability with actual wisdom. If you want to dig deeper into the mechanics and the real-world impacts of these systems, you've got to check out our specific cross-referenced explainers on your screen right now. S1E5, Why Does AI Confidently Get Things Wrong? S2E4, Bias by Design, When Algorithms Discriminate, and S8E2, AI Sneak Oil, Separating Hype from Reality. These are going to equip you with the exact evidence you need to really navigate this landscape. As we keep integrating these massive systems into our everyday lives, we really have to pause and ask, are we building tools to serve us, or are we building autonomous agents that will eventually manage us? Please subscribe to the channel if you want to keep exploring these questions with us. Remember, most people don't lack information, they lack clarity. This is the Signal Brief, cutting through the noise to focus on the signal.